Hi everybody, this is John Small. I'm going to be playing you a video that I recorded last year, and I talk a little bit about this book, The Snow Job, the Cape Cod Lyars Handbook. This was published by my dad, and it was a compilation of stories from his friend George Washington Snow, a pretty well-known Provincetown storyteller of that time. So this is an old audio recording from about 1949, 1950. Enjoy. So this was back in 1949, and my dad was living in Provincetown, but he was on a radio station known as WOCB. This was out in West Yarmouth area of Cape Cod. He had a radio show weekly, and he had a lot of talent that would come on and sing. He also had storytellers, and his good friend George Washington Snow wrote many stories in this book. And he recites one of these stories, a story about the Seagull of Cape Cod. And this is an old recording that I'm going to be playing. You're going to hear an introduction from my dad talking about this booklet, and you're going to hear him introducing George Washington Snow. So the audio is not great. We've cleaned it up as much as we could, but this is from an old 78. So I hope you'll enjoy this and take a listen.
Now I want to tell you folks just a few minutes about a little offer that we have here. We have a book, and it's called The Snow Job, and it's by our old friend, that famous prevaricator, that Cape Cod Baron Munchausen, George Washington Snow of Provincetown, Massachusetts. Now, George has been writing stories and telling stories for pretty near 45 years, and now he's decided to put them in a book. And this book will be on the newsstands, it will be in the hands of the bookstores very, very shortly, at the low price of $1.69. And you can get this book, too, by ordering directly from this radio station. And I wonder who this is who's just walked into the station here now. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everybody. How do you do? How do you do? This is your old friend from Cape Cod, George Washington Snow. I'm going to tell you a little story about a seagull. Probably you've never heard it. I'm going to tell it to you, and I'm about to do so now. Well, you go right ahead, George, and tell us all you want about the seagull. One morning a number of years ago, while I was standing down on the end of the town pier, observing the beauties of our harbor, I noticed a seagull in distress some 200 feet from the end of the wharf. All my best instincts caused me to immediately spring into action. Without a moment's hesitation, I put out in my tongue, and within a matter of seconds came alongside the exhausted bird. Only then did I discover the difficulty. A large goosefish was holding the gull by its left leg and attempting to pull him under to a watery grave. The moment I reached out to rescue the bird, the evil fish bit off the leg of the bird and swam away before I could kill it. I took the injured gull ashore, took him to my home where I bandaged his injured leg, and in weeks that followed, I fed him several times a day until it had it. Tommy, as I named him, had a splendid recovery, became a wonderful pet, and seemed to comprehend everything I told him. He was very intelligent, and took to following me around everywhere I went, hopping along on his good legs. Everyone used to admire him. He loved ice cream, too, and every day I used to make certain that he had at least 1 or 2 chocolate cones. We were great pals, and I thought a whole lot of him, but he used to put out burning cigarette butts that he found on the pier, and I even taught him music. Many an evening, as we sat at home together, he would whistle Mother McCree or Sweet Adeline, whilst I played the accompaniment for him on my cornet. One day, however, I missed Tommy, and inquiring for him at home, learned that he had flown off in the direction of town pier, evidently looking for me. I hurried down to the wharf at once, but when I got there, all I could see was a large crowd of people. They were laughing very hard. When I looked up in the sky, I was surprised to see Tommy headed towards Wood End Light, with a large red balloon tied to his tail. Well, sir, when I saw this, tears came to my eyes, for I knew I was standing there saying goodbye to Tommy, the best friend I ever had. This dastardly deed had been the work of some naughty boys who thought they were doing a smart thing. The next day I read in the paper that a dying gull had been picked up in Times Square in New York, that this gull, just before finally expiring, had appeared to be trying to whistle a tune which witnesses said sounded like Mother McCree's. The only conclusion I have ever been able to come to is that my Tommy, carried along by the devilish balloon, tied to his tail feathers, finally crashed into the Times building and then plunged to death. And in his dying moments, thought of me and tried nobly to whistle one of the songs I had taught him. And that is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, as I am accustomed to telling it.
So I hope you all enjoyed that little story about the seagull told by George Washington Snow. And this is a unique listen back in time, back to a time when stories and recordings were done a little bit differently. There was an old Lyars Club of Cape Cod, and it seems there was a Lyars Club in Provincetown, and George Washington Snow was certainly a part of that, and there were many people that were a part of that club. I wish we had more audio recordings to listen back to the way they actually told those stories, but I'm really grateful that we have this one. Glad that my dad got to have George on his radio show and that this was captured and preserved. I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope to be putting up a lot more about my family and their roots here on Cape Cod. If you enjoyed this video, just give a thumbs up below, leave a comment if there's more information you'd like to know about my family. I've been here on Cape Cod, small family since the early 1700s, and I have ancestry also that goes back to Stephen Hopkins and his daughter Constance Hopkins, so going back about 400 years. I will be putting up a lot more videos on the family and on my take on things here on Cape Cod. Just hit the subscribe button down below if you'd like to get notifications. There's also a little bell you can hit and it says get notifications. And there's a like button. You can leave a comment, and hopefully we'll be putting up a lot more videos like this. And I also have art tutorial videos and a whole process of videos about my journey into decluttering. As you can see around me, I've got quite a few things, but if you could see in front of me, I have a lot more things. So I'm going to have videos about decluttering and organizing spaces and living more peacefully. So tune in, subscribe, and I will see you all soon. Bye.